What's up, guys? It is the NC Dolphin. I am back. I know last video I made was in like April. Yeah. Just to let you guys know, and the reason being, and I'm gonna put out videos when I can because I enjoy it. This is because I enjoy doing it. I'm in grad school to be a chiropractor, Palmer College of Chiropractic. Very proud to rep my school. We'll do it anytime. Love them. Just finished my first trimester of the doctorate program, so I am really excited. But for anybody that's ever been in grad school or is going to grad school, I'm gonna let you know, especially if it's something in the medical field, you're gonna have to clamp down. It's tough. It is not easy. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But we are here to talk Dolphins football. That's why we are called the NC Dolphin. And the reason I already told you guys why. That was in the first video. But I'm from North Carolina. So, yeah. I'm getting used to, and then currently I'm in Iowa, as I said. So, still getting used to the area. Now, let's talk Dolphins. In our draft, so currently, this is embarrassing. Today is July 1st. A lot of crap has gone down that you guys probably already know about, but I'm going to go over everything since April that has happened. Mostly I'm going to go over who we drafted and what I think about it, because I mostly went over free agency and who we signed. Now, Kenneth Grant from Michigan, the defensive tackle, I'm okay with it. I didn't know what we were going to take, offensive linemen, but I'll get to that, but I was okay with how this ended up going out. We did need a defensive tackle. We lost, I forget his name. Oh, the big locker room guy. I forget his name. But he signed with the Cardinals. Whatever. His name's disappearing in my mind right now, but he was the guy he's the guy that's been in the NFL for years and years and years. I'll probably remember it halfway through the video or recording this, but he's been in the NFL for years. But yeah, we tried a culture change with him. He just didn't. He was a great locker room presence. I didn't want to lose him, but I hope he goes and gets his ring. I really liked him. Now, we needed Kenneth Grant. And we also brought we brought a former Dolphin back. I forget his name, but we re-signed a former Dolphin that left us, went to the Colts, and then we re-signed him. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Can't remember his name, but we did put some depth at defensive tackle, and Kenneth Grant, I think, is going to be great. Jonah Savaianaya. I swear to you, I felt like crying when our team finally invested in a good offensive lineman so we could actually run the ball. Because when we just signed that one guard, when we signed that one tackle, we signed a guard, yeah. When we signed that one guard, I was like, that's not enough. I was like, we need a right guard. And now, offensive line. I trust Patrick. I really do trust Patrick. I really think he is going to fill Teron Armstead's role. I think he's up to it. I definitely think Patrick can step up to that role and fulfill what Teron Armstead is leaving. I know a lot of people are iffy on him. For the film breakdown I've seen from people on YouTube of him and what I saw during the season, I think he's got it. He can 100% step up and take that role. I think he's up for it. But Jonas Savaianaya, after a while, I thought it was cool. He was from Hawaii, like Tua, and he had the arm sleeve. But after watching some film and what he's good at, I am very, 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 very excited about this guy. Now listen, I have to watch film because I don't watch college football. I know that's weird, but I love the NFL. I'll watch a college game here and there, but I don't watch it for y'all know what I mean. So, our next draft pick was Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle out of Maryland. As I said, building that depth, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with having that depth. He's okay. I zoned out while watching some film of him, but he's that guy. We might cut him. He was like a 5th round pick or something. We will live if he doesn't pan out. And then we did and this is where we started doing picks where I was like, okay, and Chris Greer's done this before. We're reaching. He's reaching. And it's okay. It's just, at this point, you pick the best player available, and I get it. So we picked a cornerback, Jason Marshall Jr. out of Florida. Okay, could be cut. We'll see. And then Dante Trader, safety out of Maryland. Could be cut. We'll see. He might be okay. I've heard a couple good things about Dante Trader, though. Now, see, those were the two I was like, okay, Chris Greer, I see, it's okay. The next two, the last one I don't really care, it can be cut, but the next two I was excited about. So, the next one was Ollie Gordon. People forget, in 2023, that man went off. And then in 2024, the offensive line was not as good, and defenses were like, oh my goodness, defenses were like, okay, they just focused on him because he was the only good person on that team in Oklahoma State. Yeah, in Oklahoma State, all they had was Ollie Gordon. So teams would just focus on Ollie. After he went off, they'd focus on Ollie Gordon, and they shut him down. Here's the thing, though, with the Dolphins, decent offensive line, draw some attention away with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek. He can be a bruiser. He was predicted to be a first overall pick. So I am very, 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 very excited about Ollie Gordon. And honestly, the more I was learning about him, the more I was thinking, how did this guy slip so far and people didn't take a chance earlier? Because he slipped pretty low. I don't know. Next, Quinn Ewers. Oh, he wasn't last. Sorry, there was one before him. Zeke Bigger. I was okay with him. I think Zeke is going to be one of those. Yeah, Zeke from Georgia Tech. He's one of those. He's probably going to get cut. That it is what it is. That's what he is. He's probably going to get cut. Maybe make the practice squad. Nothing crazy. But Quinn Ewers, that threw me off, man. Quinn Ewers, man. Did not see that coming. I would have lost all my bets. And I would have laughed if you told me the Dolphins would have taken him and he would have fallen that far. I didn't think he would fall that far. But yeah, Quinn is a Dolphin. And honestly, I like him in that they keep it in the system way better than Zach Wilson. So we will see. We could end up in a situation where Quinn Ewers ends up being our backup quarterback. But as we know, that probably won't end up happening because Zach Wilson, we are paying him like $6 million. Oh, what? I will be back. Sorry about that. My phone started dying and I'm recording on it. But yeah, Quinn Ewers, that was out of left field, and I could definitely see him being a backup quarterback for us, 100%. Now, after the draft, we had some unsigned free agent signing, unsigned free agents. Unless we have a random Kader Kohu who impressed during minicamp or something, or training camp. Sorry, minicamp already happened. During training camp, I don't see any of them making it. We'll see. I heard one of the tight ends okay. That's what I heard. And it's from I listen to all different stuff. I listen to Dougly Do Wrong, #1. I listen to, oh God, I forget his name. That kid named Tyler. He's the one that yells about dolphin stuff on TikTok and YouTube. I think he's funny. And then also the Dive Bar podcast. They're so real. Doug and the Dive Bar podcast are just so real and down to earth. Now, let's get into what I care about. So, Doug had some inside information. I was listening to him for a while. We knew Jaylen Ramsey was gone. He was getting traded. some point. When I heard the stuff about Jonnu, I was like, Lord, please no, Jonnu, please no. And then the other day happened. I forget when it exactly happened, but Jaylen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith were traded to the Steelers. I'm fine with Jaylen Ramsey. I knew he was gone. And honestly, I'm going to tell y'all something. Jaylen Ramsey was kind of getting washed last year. He was getting beat a lot. I think the Steelers are going to regret this. I think Jaylen Ramsey he's still good, but I think he's getting a little bit washed when it comes to these, like, new receivers. If any of y'all watched the Cardinals game last year, Jaylen Ramsey was getting cooked by Marvin Harrison Jr. I think I said that right. Jaylen Ramsey was getting cooked by Marvin Harrison Jr. the whole time. And if it looks like I'm not looking at you, my eyes are looking at the screen of the recording, so I'm doing my best to look at the camera. So, if y'all have a problem with that, I don't care. So in that trade, we got back Minkah Fitzpatrick. I remember back in 2019 when he pitched I'm not going to curse, but a B-fit. And because he didn't want to do what Brian Flores told him, which I honestly, from everything I've heard and everything we know about Brian Flores, I can kind of see why he wanted out. I can definitely see why he wanted out. Didn't want to play for Brian Flores and play for someone like Mike Tomlin. I get it. But we got Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's back. He is back with the Dolphins. And he is an elite corner. I am sorry. Let me excuse myself. Safety. I am so excited for him to be our safety. I am so excited. He is a top Pro Bowler. He's in his prime, let's be honest, age-wise. He is in his prime. I am so excited. We got back a Pro Bowler and all-pro team player. And we traded an old cornerback who is slowly losing it. And we also, we traded an old cornerback who is slowly losing his game. And Jonnu sucked. I'm not going to lie. I was so upset that I didn't look at the news about anything happening for a couple days. I didn't want to hear shit about the Dolphins. I just didn't. I was so pissed off that we traded Jonnu. Because, I was like, what are we going to do? Because I loved Jonnu. I loved his personality. I loved all his interviews. I loved Jonnu. He was very skilled. I loved him. But the Dolphins surprised me today. So we did that trade, and I didn't want to watch anything. But then we trade for Darren Waller. I remember when he got traded to the Giants last summer, he was on the market. When we lost Gesicki, there were rumors of when we lost Gesicki, there were rumors of Darren Waller was on the market, and we knew Chris Greer and the Dolphins tried to pursue Darren Waller from the Raiders, but they signed with the Giants. I remember that. Chris Greer tried to get Darren Waller because that was the year Gesicki left. I am telling you right now, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm super optimistic, but at the same time, he hasn't played football in a year. And you look at other players who took a year off and other years off. Look at, what was his name? Gronk. Look at Gronkowski when he took a year off and came back to play with Brady. he wasn't the same player. It took him a while to get back in the fit or the jive. I hate to say it, look at Deshaun Watson. You know, all those legal jargon and whatnot, but he came back and he was not the same player. So he's still athletic and he wants to play. I'm a little bit scared for the off the field issues, but I have a feeling it's gonna be okay. I definitely have a feeling he's going to do good. We're going to have a decent tight end room. I heard the Dive Part podcast talking about how the 2 tight ends on the roster, you step up, Tanner Conner and Julian Hill. They have a chance to step it up, and I completely agree. And then they were talking about some undrafted free agent tight end. I don't remember his name. They're hyping him up a little bit. Probably not even going to make the roster, but we'll see. I am excited for Darren Waller. If he is anything close to the Raiders, Darren Waller he was, ooh, we got ourselves a steal. And also something huge about this trade that I didn't realize. The Steelers took all of Jaylen Ramsey's contract and even gave him more money once they had him and gave Jonnu the money he wanted, which means we have a shit ton, sorry for cursing, a crap ton of cap space. We have so much cap space now. So much. We're not paying Ramsey. We're not going to be paying Jonnu. We are doing so good cap space wise. Which I will say, Chris Greer, hats off to you. But that is my opinion of with everything that's going on, my opinion on all of our draft picks and then the recent drama. And then lastly, I'll talk about drama. They're talking about a culture change. I'm going to be honest. I think I heard Doug say something about it. Because when I heard culture change, my first thought was, I hear this every year. I heard it in 2024. I heard it in 2023. I heard it in 2019. I heard it in 2021. And I heard it in 2022 under Brian Flores and under Miami Dale. The biggest culture change that I witnessed was from Brian Flores' firing to Mike McDaniel hiring. That was a culture change. That was a freaking culture change. I didn't see one in 2023. I think we just got lucky with health. Didn't see one in 2024. God, I want to forget that season almost. I'm trying to think. If there's anything I'm going to remember about the 2024 season, it's probably going to be Jonnu. I'm trying to think of anything memorable. There was Malik Washington, and I love him, but I'm not going to remember that. Jonnu and all of his touchdowns is when I think of the summary of all 2024, I mean, we lost the playoffs, we lost to the Bills, no crazy games. God, Tyler Huntley, we had played him too much. The way I guess my mind wants to forget that season. The only positive thing I remember out of that season was Jordan Brooks. Yeah, I love him. I thank God he's still on the team. Jordan Brooks and Jonnu were the 2 highlights for 2024 for me. I love Achane, but he did not produce in 2024. And I mean, how can you blame the kid? I love him. Love Texas. One of my buddies is a huge Texas A&M fan. I mean, how can you blame him for not having as good as a season when your offensive line sucks and you have a general manager you have a crappy offensive line. You have a general manager saying, "Oh, you're more worried about the offensive line than we are." Really? Yeah. And then and then in the media conference, they were like, "Yeah, we effed up. Yeah, we effed up." Yeah, you did. You really did. The offensive line, build the trenches, build the trenches, build the trenches, build the trenches, build the trenches. Championships are won in the trenches on offense and defense. That is how they are won. For example, with all, oh my goodness, with Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Chop having a rotation of 3 of them, we're going to be A-okay pass rusher-wise. absolutely A-okay pass rusher wise. Like, yeah, we're gonna be fine. And here's the thing: we're gonna have a decent defensive tackle. Now, there's two things I would like to say, or see and say. So first of all, two things we need, and then I'm comfortable going into the season. And thing is, it's funny because mine is the same as the dive bar and Dougley, but because here's the thing, they're glaring needs. That's the reason. They're looking at us and staring us in the face. It's like, I'd like this. Like, Keenan Allen is maybe like a slot receiver to give people breaks. If we paid him like $2-3 million, sure. Why not? But that's not the kind. Keenan Allen's a great EMF. Like, if you remember, like, with Caleb Williams, when he first graded it, he went out to grade him and stuff. He's all high on himself. He's a good player, but he's not worth what he's wanting. That's why he's still a free agent. But if it, like, $3 million, sure. But thing is, that would take away opportunities from people like Malik Washington, who did really good last season. Okay. Two needs. We need a cornerback, which I think they're working on that. I do think they're working on getting a cornerback right now. I think they realize how bad they need one, and they're going to sign one. I think there's there was the cornerback who just had the neck surgery that played for Buffalo. I think it was Buffalo or the Chargers. I can't remember. But I think he's done. So very soon we should see if the Dolphins are going to sign him. And then after that, I don't care. We need one or two pieces on the offensive line. Now, something I heard on the Dive Bar podcast, which I am totally fine with, is they're trying to re-sign Isaiah Wynn, but in a backup role. Because from what I've heard, Isaiah Wynn doesn't want a backup role. Isaiah Wynn would be better as I don't think he's durable enough for a whole season. You need him for a couple games? I think he's got you. You need him for the last 5 games of the season, 4 or 5 games, playoff run, and he'll come in there and give you 3 or 4 or 5 games. I don't think that's a bad idea, and he can play all over the line. That's not a bad idea. I'd bring in maybe 1 or 2 depth pieces for our offensive line, because looking at the past 2 years, we have not gotten lucky. Or at the offensive line, we have not gotten lucky. But yeah. I definitely think this year we're going to have a running game. I think from what I've heard, you know what? You never know with Tua. You never know. I give up. I've tried to predict Tua things. I give up with Tua. I give up with the kid. I hope and pray to God that Tua chooses to make smart decisions and stay healthy. That's what I hope. I pray to God Tua makes smart decisions and stays healthy, because I don't know what he's going to do, because he puts himself in harm's way, and it's ridiculous. So, yeah, please comment, and subscribe. I don't even think my last video has a like. So, yeah, go give me a like. Maybe comment something. I'd love to create even if it's small, even 10, 15 people, I'd love to create a base of people that I can have a conversation with, because I'm not gonna lie, you'd be surprised how few people can really hold a conversation that know the NFL, that I know, or at least around my college right now. And none of my family really follows this, and none of my friends, a couple of my friends follow it, but nowhere as deep as me. I could go rant on and on and on about this. But yeah, I will see you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is just my take on, and again, I will let you guys know if my opinion comes from something that I've listened to. I'm gonna let you guys know. This is just so I can get my opinion out there, and for example, those guys, I don't always agree with them, and I'll let you know when I don't. But yeah, I'm getting a little too hyped for this season. Now, not hyped as we're going to go 16-1 or 17-0. I'm getting hyped for, this is going to be another 2023. but we might have a playoff win at the end of it. If Mike McDaniel's job is really on the line, which I was kind of hoping for, he's gonna pull something out. I am excited. And the thing is, Mike McDaniel scheme didn't work last time. You know why? We didn't have an offensive line. We somewhat do this year. Patrick Paul, that's his name. Shoot, Patrick Paul. I could not think of his full name. And then, oh man, can I get the what was his name? I see his face. The defensive tackle. I see his face. I see it. See, I've got a very round head. I don't know. His name's not coming to me. But yeah, guys, I will see you guys later, and we will see what happens with the Dolphins, and I'll make videos when I can because I love the Dolphins. All right. Deuces.